You love somebody enough, you'll forgive them for their faults, for their flaws, and all that.
Answer this one, Chris. I got something for you. Have you ever been in a moment in your life where just like, I can't forgive this person right now?
Yeah.
Tell us something about that. I feel like there's a lot of folks right now that are in that place. Someone has done something and you just feel like that you need some time, or maybe you're not even at the thought of, maybe you're in the moment of, I can never forgive them. I'm sure someone's listening that's in that spot.
Yeah, I think this is a relevant topic for a lot of people that struggle with this. So I grew up with just my mom. And the last I remember seeing my dad is, I think I was 6 years old. And I remember through my teen years and probably early 20s. I'm 26 now, so early 20s. So this is recent, right? Went through this experience in the last couple of years. I didn't realize until I really started to walk more closely with the Lord that I had not forgiven my father. There was a lot of anger. I was holding a grudge. I was feeling like bitter about it. I was feeling all these bad emotions, and it was in turn affecting other relationships, because when people would do small things, I would hold a grudge about it. But the Lord showed that to me in such like a gentle way, and he kind of was like, this is why you're like this, right? You haven't forgiven. And I'm like, what do you mean I gotta forgive? At first I'm like, what do you mean I gotta forgive? How could he not? All this stuff. And over time, you spend more time with the Lord, you learn how to forgive. And that's what I had to do. And it was a beautiful experience, because it's like total freedom. Because when you don't forgive somebody, it really, really tears on your heart. Because not only does it just sit on your heart, it starts as a little seed, right? That's what it does. It starts as a seed on your heart, and you hold on to that unforgiveness, and you water it with this other thing because somebody else does something, and somebody else does something. And then that little seed of unforgiveness, it takes a root in your heart, and it starts to grow into something else, right? So that's why it's so important to walk in love and to forgive others, because maybe that person that you're walking in love with and you're showing love, maybe they're struggling with something that they haven't forgiven somebody. You don't know. You never know what somebody else is wrestling with. This is a long answer to your question.
Yeah, it's great.
But it's so relevant, because I experienced so much freedom in the Lord walking me through that and showing me, hey, and it was so gentle too. So if you're listening to this and you have a similar experience in your life, maybe it's not your father, maybe it's somebody that, you just had an ill experience with as a child, or whatever it may be, something that you're holding on to. He was so gentle about it. It's not like one day, bam, it was gone. Over time, he just like slowly melted away that piece of stone that was in my heart. You know what I mean? So yeah.
What helped you through that? Like, do you feel like maybe when those thoughts came to you, you possibly said a prayer, or said, like, I let him go, or God, I give it to you?
A lot of prayer. Mm-hmm. A lot of saying, I forgive, and any areas that I haven't forgive, Lord, help me forgive. Because you cannot do it in your own power.
And when you say prayer, if you can't remember during those times, like what did that look like to you? Like, when was this prayer? How long was it?
It was something I prayed about daily, honestly. Like, it was something I prayed about in the morning before I started my day.
What would be like a short statement you think you would like say, like, help folks? Because I feel like, if I was 14, listening to the radio, something like this, and I'm like, well, these guys, man, they're talking about prayer on a podcast.
Yeah.
Well, what's that sound like? What did you say?
There's no formula. You know, there is no formula. So I'm not going to say this is how it should be.
Yeah.
And we talked about prayer recently, and we talked about that PRAY acronym.
Yes.
If you haven't listened to that, go check it out, because I'm not going to tell you what it means. You have to listen to the episode.
Episode 64.
That's right. But there's no right formula, right? Like, you communicate with the Lord however you want to communicate with him. He knows your heart. And for me, in my personal experience, it was just constantly saying, literally, Lord, I forgive him and help my unforgiveness. That literally those same words all the time. And it's like, I could feel like this like ease washing over me until one day I'm like, wow, like the weight's gone, you know?
So it was a process. It didn't feel like an immediate thing overnight.
No. It was over time. But it's me just saying those few words, and that was my way of addressing it. Pairing that, though, it was prayer, reading scripture about forgiveness and things like that. And then at the same time, too, like what you said, when you think about Christ, when you think about his forgiveness towards you, I mean, that ultimately is what all of that prayer, being in the Word, and thinking about what I've been forgiven of. It's like, how can you not forgive somebody? You know what I mean? And for newer folks, that's probably hard to understand, because if you're new to faith, like, yes, you believe, but you don't really understand what was done for you, right? To the extent that you possibly could. We never will. But you know what I mean? It's like, when you start to understand that a little more in depth, then you're like, I forgive.
That you were bought with a price.
Yeah. You're like,
that price was the cross.
I forgive.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's no point of me holding on to anything.